Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to quickly go over the book report and what specifically you should be looking at when you're doing the book report. So I've actually included a template here for you, so you can use that to make it a little bit easier on you. And when you're using the template, just make sure, please, it's a template. That means that once you read an instruction and you're done with it, that you delete it, that you put just your own information in there. And that includes, like here, replacing the text. So maybe whatever the title is, whatever you decide to use for the title. If it's just book report, fine. Book report, name of the book, etc. Right? So like this, you would delete this maximum of 5 pages. You don't want to have that in the title of your book, right? A subtitle would be the actual, or I'm sorry, title of your report. Subtitle is the title of the book that you are doing the report on. So you'll want to get rid of this gone, right? Let's say you're doing the report on this one. There we go, right? The class name and number, right? Your name, first and last, and right? And then Tanya, if this is my book report, and then the due date, whatever that is, when you're turning this in. Let's say it is, well, it's not March, but whatever it is, 2020, right? Whatever it is there. Okay, and then, boop, you want to, the table's not required, you want to delete anything that you're not using, right? Opa. But the table of contents would go on the next page after title page. Okay, so for the table of contents, it's a short report. So you will likely, I mean, you don't have to use a table of contents, totally up to you. If you want to use it, you can. One thing we didn't do is we didn't change this. Let's say here we were going to do we're going to call this book report, right? Book and then report. Maybe we wanted to, maybe we wanted to also call it, you can put a couple extra words in there. You might want to put something like, maybe we'll do the last name of the author, something so that we can see easily what it is. Okay. I forgot the or right here. That's a good point too. Should be proofread. Take advantage of all of the writing resources that are available to you. Okay, so you don't have to redo the table of contents. Whatever you change in the actual report will be updated in the table of contents. So for example, here's instructions. We get rid of all the instructions, and then we write the introduction. So introduction should be a very high level view of what is in the paper, the purpose of the paper, the contents of the paper, not an introduction to some other thing. You don't want to get too far off topic. You want it to really clearly convey what the contents of the paper are. But it is a good idea, since it's a book report, to put a little something about anything interesting that makes this book report or you or the book a little bit different, right? Something that can grab the reader's attention. It's like if the book was a bestseller, or like a cornerstone book that everyone has to read if they want to be an entrepreneur, or something like this. You know, if it's something that's really unique about it, that's where you would put this. And then, of course, the contents of the paper. This is what the paper is, right? I just want to be really clear. An introduction is not a detailed summary of the book or the author or anything else. It's a description of the paper, intro to the paper. So next section is your summary. So you'd want to, again, get rid of the instructions. Always leave the headers, though. In business, headers make things easy to find. So book summary. And you're going to use block paragraphs. You are going to keep those paragraphs very clear, concise, 50 to 80 words, no more than 100 words per paragraph. Every paragraph starts with the key topic and then is followed with support. So whatever that key topic is, you want to make sure that the support is from either the textbook that you read or from an outside source. If it is an outside source, you have to use, you have to cite that. So after your summary section, oh, and by the way, you do, so we know that that you're going to be citing things from the book that you're doing the report on. So you don't need to cite every single paragraph saying that you pulled this information from that particular book. If it's a direct quote, yes, cite it. And a way to sort of cite the entire thing, the entire paper, is just to let us know at the beginning that you're doing the report on this particular book. That helps the reader to sort of say, okay, I know where he or she's getting the information from. And then the summary section, this is where people sometimes overdo this. I really do not want to read, hundreds of lengthy summaries. This is it's so important in the summary section that we don't ever go above 2 pages, and that 2 pages is really on the long end. Okay, it's really, really, really on the long end. I would much rather read a summary that's a half a page to 1 page long. Okay, so don't cover every part of the book. Cover what you thought was relevant. Cover what you thought was interesting. Now, know that this book report, I've read these books myself many, many times. And so what I'd like to know is, sure, what the key point of the book was, but then the points of the book that you thought were interesting or you thought were relevant, and that you're going to be focusing on, not everything. Okay. And then the key takeaway section, again, keep it, the maximum is 2 pages, but I'd much rather read a takeaway that was well written, 2 to 3 paragraphs. Okay, 1 page or less would be better. And if you are doing the book report on the Sea League book, make sure that you share with me the opportunities that you would like to create for yourself over the next decade or so. And if you read the Lean Startup, describe how you're planning on, or how you plan on using this methodology to either start your own company someday, or maybe if you wanted to help someone else with their startup, or how you plan to use the Lean methodology moving forward. The final section is the evaluation and conclusion. Oh, again, we have to take out instructions. Key takeaway, though, that's a very good title header for this section. All right. And then evaluation and conclusion. And this is the fun part, right? This is the fun part. This is where you get to tell me what you thought. This is your critique. This is the only part of the entire paper where I would rather you didn't keep it objective. I'd rather you give me your honest opinion of the book, what you thought of it, if you learned something. Did you go into it with one thing in mind and come out with something else? Was it worth the read? Did you like it? So this is always a fun section. And then the conclusion, keep that very short, please. Like, the conclusion itself should be just a reiteration of what you did in the paper. So you might come back and say, like in the introduction, you might say, in this book report, I'll be summarizing the book, giving some of my key takeaways, and then my evaluation of the book. And then then you do that. And then in the conclusion, you say, so in this book report, I gave a summary, my key takeaways, and my evaluation. Right? Same darn thing you said in the intro. All right. So these, delete all the rest of this, right? Because this is just instructions, but I want to make sure that you're using deductive reasoning. That means, like I said before, a topic sentence followed by support. You cite all of your sources. Most of you probably won't be using any source other than the book, but maybe you could potentially be using the materials that we covered in class. maybe the PowerPoints or something. But it's a good idea to use something other than just the book itself. So even just a conversation that you had, with me, something like that. Yeah. And if you are setting a website, here's instructions on how to do that. Just note, as of 2019, you don't have to cite the date that you actually visited the website. This is a business college level paper, so you do want to keep, for the most part, keep that I and you and all the personal pronouns down to a minimum, because it's unprofessional to say you this or I this, right? Instead, keep it, tell me who the you is. And for the I, the only time you use a lot of I in this book report is in that final conclusion or evaluation section. The rest of it, keep that down to a minimum. And don't ever define terms or use terms that you don't understand. Just assume that this is college level, that I can understand the words that you're writing, and basics of what we're looking for in the paper itself. If you use this template, you'll be fine. Keep it short. If you go over 5 pages, you will be marked down significantly. I have hundreds of students and hundreds of book reports that I'm reading each semester. And I mean, literally hundreds. I think I have close to 500 students this semester. Not all of them are doing book reports, but half of them are. So you do the math. So there's the breakdown. Please include a works cited, even if you just only book that you used was this book. Still give me a works cited, and that's that. Good luck on your book reports. Excited to read them. Take care.